Welcome back to Throwin. It's me, it's Jarrett, and we are here previewing Fight Night, Spivak versus Lewis. Uh, Not too bad of a main card. We haven't done a Fight Night preview in a while, but there's some absolute bangers on this. But Jarrett, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this. I think the main event's going to be a good one. I think there are some that can finish away from the judges on the prelims, but a lot of futures are up for grabs in the prelims, and then Lewis back up against the wall, like he said in a lot of interviews nearing the end of his career. It's
Yeah,
There's a lot to look forward to in this one.
yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in this one. So we're gonna take a look at the card. Um, that's the best part about Zoom podcast. I can see the card when we talk about it. But all right, Vince Morales versus Miles Johns. Miles Johns coming in on short notice. My boy Vince, know that guy. But I think Miles Johns hits hard. Um, Although he does get a lot by decision. I know he can't hit hard. I mean, it's bantamweight, so they don't really get knocked out cold too much. What's your thoughts on this one?
So the guy who fights for him, Natividad, Johns was able to catch him in an uppercut in the third round, his last fight. But like you said, coming in on short notice, you never know how fighters are going to be. If they're going to get the proper camp, they're going to have the best conditioning, whatever you're looking at there. Um, this is a tough fight for Vince, that's for sure. I think it could go either way. The fans on Tapology are big on Johns, but they have 84% in his favor and then 66% of that by decision. I think it can go either way. Johns is also favored just off from Vegas. He's minus 145, Morales plus 115. Um, I think it could go either way, a decision either way. They have similar power, but like we're gonna say, talking about this fight the whole time, Miles Johns is on short notice.
Yeah, I think I just wish Vince would use his wrestling more. He has really good wrestling, but he does like to stand and bang, which worries me against Miles Johns. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vince come out and start to grapple. I would take Vince by decision, man. I like my boy in this one. Short notice, especially. He's conditioned. He's always in great shape. So I could take Vince in this one by decision. What about you, Jarrett?
I was gonna say decision either way. I'm kind of right in the middle on this one. This was a weird one to start off with. That was the only one that I didn't really have a set winner on, but I'm gonna have to agree with you on it. If I have to pick one, it's gonna be Vince by decision, and for the same reason, just based off short notice.
Yeah, definitely. But flyweights, these are two up and comers in the flyweight division. Charles Johnson versus Zaga Zumagulov. Two solid guys right here, man. Charles Johnson, former LFA champ, if I'm not mistaken. Beat Carlos Moda for that. But Zumagulov is a beast. Both these guys are beasts. And I think and yes, Zumagulov did lose to Jeff Molina, who's very good in his last fight. He's lost to the best Manel Cop. I think he's ranked right now. I mean, Zumagulov is right there, and I think a win over Charles Johnson could get him into that top 15.
Yeah, for sure. Um, he can also has a pretty decent submission game. Um, had a submission over Jerome Rivera and a standing guillotine. 0-2 since, but like you said, he's had some tough competition. So
Yeah, this is a good fight. I mean, Johnson's first fight was against Makayev. Good luck winning that in your first fight. I mean, Makayev might be the champion next year. Honestly, he might become the youngest ever. He has a good chance of doing it. I can take Johnson. I think Johnson's really good. I mean,
yeah,
Makayev's tough.
I'm gonna say Johnson by decision, even though I could see a finish out of it.
Yeah, I agree with everything there. Oh yes, I can't wait for this fight. Danny Roberts versus Jack Della Maddalena. I love Jack Della Maddalena. He is one of my favorites. I believe he last fought. Oh, he fought me back in Australia in June at 275. Maddalena can hit, bro. I don't
He's
know what it is, but he is very very good, and I think you'll see see ranked matchups if he gets the win.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's on a 9 fight win streak. Not all of those are in the UFC, but still 9 fights in professional fighting. That's a pretty big deal. And only one of those was by decision. So, he can definitely hit.
Yeah, that dude, he can hit. I mean, if you look at Danny Roberts, he did lose to Francisco Trinaldo, who's like 45, if I'm not mistaken. He did beat Amiv and Imadaev back in 2019. But I think the problem with Roberts is that he's been inactive. He hasn't really been fighting consistently, whether it be injuries. You can't help it in a sport as brutal as mixed martial arts. But this is a good fight. But I think Jack Dalla Maddalena goes in there. He's a wood chipper, man. I think he gets it done by knockout.
Yeah, me too. I definitely agree with that. I think that could definitely be a highlight. Danny Roberts has a sick nickname though. Hot chocolate. I love that.
That's
It's
great.
big nickname guy.
Big nickname. All right. We have Andre Fiallo versus Muslim Salikov. Salikov hailing from Dagestan, I think. I don't know what they do down there, but hey, it works
Yeah.
in that area of the world, whatever they do.
Got the fountain of youth down there. They're just good for so long. It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Same
Fiallo
way.
coming off a loss to Jake Matthews, who, I mean, that's no shame in losing Jake Matthews. I think this is Fiallo's 5th fight of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And Muslim Salikov, he has been ranked before. I believe he's been out of the rankings for a bit, and he lost the Leech by like some crazy knockout. That was insane.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, this is a good fight. I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Fiallo cracks hard, but Muslim Salikov is really solid too with his grappling.
Yeah. Um, if I had to pick one, I'd say Fiallo by decision. I think this is going to be a close one. Big part in this is I think age will play a role in it. Just the longer it goes. But Salikov could finish him quick, like you said, on the ground. He's good. So another good one to look forward to for sure.
Yeah, these guys are both hungry, coming off a loss. So I don't know, man. I'll take Fiallo, man. I mean he hits hard, but Salikov's grappling is really really good. So I'm honestly split on this, and I think like I said with the last fight, whoever wins here gets to start looking into ranked contenders. But I think Andre Fiallo will win by knockout. What about you, Jarrett?
Yeah, I think Fiallo by decision. So I think it could go to the judges. I think it's
For
gonna
sure.
be
Yeah, it'll be a good fight. All right, next one. Uh, Chase Sherman versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Cortez Acosta just fought 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, against Jared Vandera. He's been active. You gotta give it to the guy. I love it. 8-0 coming off the contender series, and then Chase Sherman. I don't know why he's in the UFC still. I think it's just because he's more than willing to take fights on short notice. And if he had a camp, I mean, he's a freak athlete. But I'm telling you, if this dude just had a camp, he might actually be uh, pretty good. But Chase, Chase Sherman has the experience. Cortez Acosta can stand and bang. This isn't going to get out of the first round, I don't think, especially
no.
with the way Acosta fights. What do you think, Jared?
Well, I mean, they both fought Vandera. Like you said, Cortez fought him a couple weeks ago. That was by unanimous decision that he ended up winning. But Sherman TKO'd him. But it's I don't know. I feel like this one, uh, like you said, you're unsure why Sherman's still in the UFC. Cortez Acosta definitely has uh bright things looking up. He's the favorite in both aspects, both from Vegas and from the fans. Um, I'm gonna have to agree with them, and I'd have to go Cortez Acosta in this one.
Yeah, I think he gets it done very quick in the first round. But hey, it's heavyweights. Anything can happen. That's the fun part about it.
Absolutely.
All righty. This is a fun one. Kenny and Shekwu versus Ion Kudalaba. This is another fight where two guys whoever wins will start seeing ranked competition. And Sheku and Ion Kudalaba both like to stand and bang. He doesn't use his wrestling as much as I would like to, because I think his wrestling is really good. And and Sheku's coming off a win against Carl Roberson. So and Kudalaba's great. He whenever he gets to that top 15, he can't seem to get over the hump. Losses to Johnny Walker, Ryan Spann. I mean, he's right there. He just needs to find a way to get it done. And Kudalaba got in the draw with just Dustin Jacoby, who's been on a tear. So, like I said, Kudalaba is right there. And Sheku is he has that one hitter quitter power, man. This is a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was gonna bring up the losses to Walker and Spann too. I think Kudalaba can get it done. I'm gonna go Kudalaba by decision.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think this is going to be one of those fights where he's just going to grind it out on the ground, make it boring, make it ugly.
Yeah. Which he needs. You can't blame him for that. With a guy with this much power, you can't stand and bang with him. You got to take it down to the ground, take it to the judges if you can't match that power. So,
yeah, he's got to make it ugly, and he can't afford to just like you said, he can't afford to stand and bang.
Right.
I want to see Kudalaba move down to 185 because he's 6'1", and he's not massive. And the thing is with Kudalaba, I think that there's no really great wrestler there's a couple pretty good wrestlers in that middleweight division. I think Kudalaba can find himself in the top 10 of that middleweight division after a few fights. I don't think I'm crazy saying that. So I don't know. What do you think?
No, I mean I agree with you. I mean, you got the weight to cut. You can. I don't think it would impact him too much. So I definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, he can also get. I wouldn't want to lose muscle mass, but lose a little bit of that, and then I think he's great. Well, we'll see what happens after this fight. Maybe he will move. All right, main event of the evening. Can't wait for this one. Banger right here. Sergey Spivak versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, I mean, he's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. You can't not watch this guy when he fights. Record for most knockouts in the UFC. But dude, this Sergey Spivak is really, 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 really good.
Yeah. Spivak TKOs against Hardy and Augusto Sakai. He also submitted Tai Tuivasa back in 2019. Tough fight for Lewis, for sure.
It's very tough.
I think you even said, what was that? The review podcast. You were like, if Lewis loses this one, where does he go from here? And it's kind of scary from like a confidence point whenever you're hearing Derek Lewis even say that about himself. Like, my back's up against the wall. Like, where do I go from here if I lose? But like you said, it's heavyweight. Anything can happen, especially if it's Derek Lewis. I don't know who comes out on top in this one. I think it can go either way, but I think I'm gonna go Spivak. I think Sergey can get it done.
I hate to say Spivak too, dog, but that's the cycle of fighters. The new crop comes in. Let's take a look at the rankings.
And like you could hear on that how much it pained me to say.
Yeah,
it's like
we could agree. You and I both want Derek Lewis to go in there and just uppercut, go burr, and just put him out cold. I love Derek Lewis. Best post-fight interviews out of any fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look at the young guys here. Abdurrahimov is going to be out soon. He's fighting Carlton Almeida. Almeida's a beast. We'll talk. I think. Let's see when they're fighting. Actually, Jenny, we'll talk about that, bro. That is a great fight. even though I was out. Romanov, very good. Dawkins. All right, I'm gonna say this about Dawkins. He needs to cut to 205. If he loses some body fat, bro, he would be a force at 205. Because he weighs in at 235. He could, cut, lose 20. He could afford to lose 20 pounds. And I asked him on Twitter one time, actually, would you cut down to 205? He's like, yeah, I would. Make the move, dude. Make the move. You'd be really good at 205. Marshall Tyboro is on his way out. Rose's strike's only like 33, 34, so he's still relatively young. Volkov is still relatively young, but he's had a lot of fights. 45 fights. He's like 34 years old. And then you got Derek Lewis, Stipe. Old guys are moving out, man. Like, Overeem just, got cut a couple years ago. Yeah, you see, like, the young guys are now taking over the heavyweight division. Aspinall's going to be champ. That's a lock. I don't care what anybody says. But, man, this heavyweight's going to be fun in a couple years. And then, Stipe's just there. Hasn't fought in 2 years. I want him to fight so badly. But, man, it pains me to say, but Sergey Spivak might dominate this fight.
Yeah.
But fun fact, Derek Lewis has never lost in Las Vegas. And that tiny octagon's going to work to Lewis's favor because Spivak's not going to have his enough run, not as much. He'll have enough running room, but not as much running room to just go and take him to the ground. So we'll see what happens, man. Not a crazy card by any means, but there's some bangers on here if you pay attention. Just to go through Vanessa Demopoulos versus Maria Oliveira, that's another good fight. Tercios versus Natividad, another good fight. Ooh, Maya versus I forgot about this one. I should have said this, but Morose, a very good fighter. I didn't prepare anything for this, but Morose is very good. And if she wins this fight, she could find herself in a title fight, I think, next year. She's very, very good. So, I mean, great card, man. Solid card for a fight night. Not many ranked opponents on here. I'm surprised Maya and Morose didn't make it to the main because they're the only other ranked matchup on here. But hey, you can't really complain. It's been a quiet week for MMA news, Jarrett. There really hasn't been anything.
Seems like ever since we started doing the podcast, nothing's been really announced, but
yeah, it's crazy. Jorge Masvidal and Jorge Masvidal says he's willing to fight Gilbert Burns in London. Or Cardiff. Cardiff's the other spot they're looking at. The UK card. I feel bad. Masvidal might get killed, bro.
yeah. Why is he set on those locations? Like, why don't they put him on?
It's a pay-per-view. And there's gonna be like 80,000 people there probably.
I was gonna say, why don't they put him on like 84? And
they should have put him on 83 in Brazil. That'd be savage.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Put him on 2 and start stacking that card up like the last one.
I agree. It's Alex Perez and Kai Kara France set for 284 in Perth. That's a good fight. That's a really good fight. That'll probably determine the next title challenger, honestly.
Is the Whitaker fight, was that old news?
Yeah, that's old news, but they just started promoting it. Well, it's like 3 weeks old. It's not too old, but Costa Whitaker in Perth too. That's a banger. You can't go wrong with that.
You get a title shot, or I think they'll do a immediate rematch for Izzy.
Depends, because I know Izzy wants to take time off, and he said he was sick and he has some stuff to deal with. But then again, Izzy said he'd fight Pereira regardless for his next fight, whether it's for a title or not. So, I mean, I would pay good money to see. Man, Bobby Knuckles gets the title back. Woo! I love Bobby Knuckles. Perez, Kai Kara France, great fight there. Bruno Silva, March 11th. That's okay. Oh, Adesanya. He got
Oh my God, yeah. How do
Caught with brass knuckles.
one of the best fighters in the world carrying around brass knuckles? What do you need brass knuckles for? It was probably like a gift for a family member from like New York. Like, hey, I got you brass knuckles from New York. Like,
Apparently, a fan gave it to him.
what'd you say?
Apparently, a fan gave it to him.
Oh, jeez.
Uh, yeah, it can be punished up to a year in prison. Um, oh, Israel Simpson, Paradigm Sports guy. Tim Simpson. Israel was handed a gift by a fan, which he put in his luggage. When flagged at the airport, Israel disposed of it quickly and cooperated, and it was just dismissed, and he went home. Someone said, I saw a joke on Twitter, and it said Prayer was the TSA agent. He just follows him everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so funny, dude. Man, that's weird. Isn't just being caught with brass knuckles? He doesn't need them.
It caught me off guard. I was like, why? Like, what are
Yeah,
you?
that was fine. I went, what?
Yeah. I thought I was getting punked again, like the McGregor fight.
Yeah. Oh, here's one. This was yesterday. Well, November 16th. So 2 days ago when you're hearing this. Ilya Latifi suspended 3 months for failing to disclose a staph infection. Why wouldn't you That's gross.
Yeah.
That's just unethical, man. I wouldn't want a staph infection. Uh, and last thing, Jimmy Alonso right there. Mark Goddard set to referee Yuri Prohaska and Glover Share 2. That's a good rep. I love Mark Goddard. But Jarrett, you got anything else, man? That was a little short episode, but you can't complain.
No, not at all. I'm excited for this weekend. Thanksgiving break coming up. Get to head home. Get to get back in the wrestling room. Wrestling season's coming up. Can't complain about that.
I
Love my
can't either. I can't either. I love see if Ohio State has meet when I'm on break, so I can go see what's up over there. But
there.
Jarrett, thanks for coming back, man. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Loving it.
Yeah, for sure. I love it too. We'll see you for the next episode, which will probably be a review of this fight night. So we'll see you guys next time.